All right. Good morning. Today's June 10th. Crazy how fast this year is going by. So a quick pre-open analysis in a sec, and then we'll see what price action gives us. We had an insane Asia. I tried catching a short, and it would have been huge. It's got stopped out. I'll share that a bit later. But what's it gonna do here? Okay. All right. We got 6 minutes here. So looks like volume's working, camera's working. So let's get started. Okay. So very interesting session. It's kind of starting off with the daily here. Let's look at what price action did yesterday. It essentially stayed in the upper half of this daily fair value gap. Okay. And then today, what it did is it took out essentially all the highs it created on Monday and on Thursday. The move I tried catching was once it pierced Thursday's highs, I tried catching a short. And I did manage to catch a top. It's just to retrace a bit too deeply when I put my stop at break even, and then it just collapsed lower. So maybe user error from my end, but we'll go through that later. But from a daily perspective, what I want to see from price today, it's interesting. We have to be a bit more nimble because price got all these highs, it dropped back lower. What's the chance of price coming back up and hitting this target today? I think it's lower probability than I'd want it to be. Let's see if there's any news today that's going to help us kind of push price today. Today's nothing. There's just President Trump is speaking at 4 p.m. And then tomorrow we got CPI. So tomorrow, I think that's when we're going to get the main moves at 8:30. I might start my stream a bit early tomorrow, and we'll try to play around the 8:30 news, but I don't see anything really meaningful up until then. Thursday, we got PPI at 8:30, and then Friday, we have red folder news at 10 a.m. So usually when we don't have any news at all, it's going to be a low probability day. So we're going to wait for some very clean price action intraday, and that's how we're going to manage our trades. But all in all here is price can possibly push down lower into here, get into this bullish order block and then push higher, or it might just push higher. So I'm bullish from a daily perspective. It's just I don't like what it did earlier today, taking out all these highs, okay, from the past couple of days. Dropping down into a 1 hour, you can see how price, it peaked above this red block here, which is the daily fair value gap. It took out all of this resting liquidity that was formed yesterday. Okay, you can see here, like this very smooth high that we have formed from 10 a.m. all the way to 3 o'clock on the 1 hour. Price went higher, dropped lower, and essentially we traded into the new week opening gap, which is this blue bar here. We pushed up higher, and now we're sitting in the SIBI, this 1 hour SIBI. And we're in the lower half of it, okay? So you can see here right now for price to push higher here after this 1 hour market structure to the downside, it might be low probability. What's kind of standing out to me right here on the 1 hour are these relative equal lows, okay? What's my time here? I got 2 minutes till open, okay. From a 15-minute perspective, you can see here, We had relative equal highs, Friday's highs. All this has been taken. Okay, in the Asia session, it dropped lower. We have Asia's highs untraded. So again, future target, session highs. And all in all, it was, a pretty large London, Asia, moderately small pre-New York, which is normal. And now we've got this, it's going to be roughly a 28 RTH gap, which again is smaller than I want it to be. Usually above 40, that's when you see more explosive price action right at the open. So from a 15-minute perspective, again, this is really tricky today, guys. Let me see here. This right here is my target. Okay. Relative equal lows. I do want to see price come down to London lows after an explosive move higher with failing to push higher. And I do think price is going to get below the new week opening gap and push lower. So today, this is our target from what I see. Things might change, but session bias is going to be here. Okay. Okay, on the 5-minute, let's just make sure that it looks good here on the bottom right. All right. This right here, again, a bit sus. It's like it's a low resistance liquidity run. So we do have liquidity right above here. So this is the pre-New York highs. It's a session high, which makes it a high grab on liquidity. And then ultimately, like, what do I want to see from today? It'd be really nice for price to go up first, take out this liquidity, and then start dropping. Did we open yet? We opened 9:30. Let's wait for first presentation here. I'm liking this level right here as well. This low is nice. This is relative equal lows equals liquidity. This is a really nice push right now after the open. Let's get this liquidity out of the way. It'd be optimal to see the 1 hour close within or below the midpoint of the SIBI. Liquidity is almost taken here. I took out this liquidity right here from 9 o'clock, from 9:11 all the way till 9:23. You can see these 3 relative equal highs here. And then we got a couple of like key areas here, which are these dark green bars. We've got Monday's first presentation below us. Okay, we got all of this here. It's like Thursday's first presentation, fair value gaps from Asia's all the way to the afternoon. We got some afternoon fair value gaps here. So let's kind of see what we're going to have. All right, so we pushed up, aggressively pushed down lower. I don't see a trade right now that I can take off of the... I'm really going to try to keep things by the books on these streams so we can create consistent, repeatable trades. But ultimately, we have liquidity taken above us. I really wish it took this high right here. It didn't, but it is what it is from 850. It took out all this liquidity right here, which I think it's sufficient for price to seek liquidity lower. It might come back up higher here, take it and then drop. But right now, I'm anticipating that price is going to continue dropping lower. Do we have a 15-second first presentation? We do. There was a 15-second entry taking price short. I don't trade 15 seconds anymore. I've got burned a bit too many times here, so I'm going to wait for the 1 minute here to give me a bit more. Okay. Okay, price came back down. It rejected the upper quadrant of the RTH gap. It's pushing up higher now. Bounced off of Monday's afternoon. First presentation. And most likely, because our RTH gap today is pretty small, it's below 40. I have a feeling our trade is most likely going to happen between 950 to 1010. I think so far all of my trades on stream happen between this time frame. Again, first time done price, right? You can see here on the 15-minute, we have a really smooth high left. Again, something to watch out for. And then I think after this candle, we might get our first presentation. So far, again, is price going to hunt these lows? It possibly could after it kind of comes up and then back down. But just do keep in mind, we have yesterday's new day opening gap here. And we also have a first presentation from New York from Friday. So we got some resistance once it starts breaking into this, but that's more of a problem once you get in to see if it can dig in and take you out at these relative equal lows. But we'll see here. So in 36 seconds, we might have our first presentation of the day. Let me just have it ready to go here. This is going to be today's Tuesday, New York. First presentation, 6:10. Okay. Okay, 11 seconds to get our first presentation fair value gap. Done. Okay, so we have it formed. I'm going to take a small short here. So I'm anticipating that price is going to be held by it, and then it'll push lower. Okay, so my stop loss is here. And this is where I would want it to start dropping. All right, push right past it. That was unfortunate. No rejection there. So I was anticipating for price just to collapse from there to hit these lows and then take the next move. But right now, I shall wait for a bit more here, but we do have our first presentation. We're right now above the RTH gap. We might be pushing into these relative equal highs above us that I have here on the 5-minute and on the 15-minute. Okay, so price is taking out these relative equal highs that are just created, or it's going to. You got me, price. Price closed above the afternoon first presentation. It's going to take out this liquidity right here any second now. There you go. It just took it. Okay. It's very bullish right now. So it hit midpoint, turn around, and now it's pushing higher. So let's see if it's going to give us an entry lower. And the way right now PA is pricing up, it's probably going to be longs. How much did it move already? 60 points to the upside. What a nice little bullish move. Right now, what we need to wait for is price to retrace here. This is, we got a market structure shift right here off of this candle. Seeing it come down to Monday's afternoon first presentation and seeing if price is going to start turning around there, that might be a possible continuation trade. Today's going to be a tricky day. Let's see how price is going to react to this bullish fair value gap here. And also what I'll be looking for is the mean threshold of this 5-minute wick right here. I wouldn't want to see that broken if price is truly bullish. Price right now is on the upper quadrant, or sorry, on the very upper level of the daily SIBI. So these are typically rejection points. Okay. So liquidity has been taken on the upside. Again, it's tricky just because we've got this daily SIBI here, which might push price down to these relative equal lows here that were formed. Like this seems a bit too smooth from my end. So it's melting through all of these bullish fair value gaps that it formed. This might be the hunt now for these relative equal lows here, if not lower. But let's give price a bit longer to show us where it wants to go. It's going to be entering today's first presentation. It might close right below it. If prices closes right below it again, then I think price is going to be going lower. But I do want to see that 1 minute close. So price came, it rejected it. We've got a 1 minute SIBI here that price is pushing into. Let's see if it closes above the midpoint here. This is really tricky price action. Price closed, it brushed into it, it closed below it. If this candle pops in and again closes below it, I will take a short here, anticipating that it will break this first presentation and push lower. Just waiting a bit more from the market here before I'll attempt a second position. Because what it did, it took liquidity above us, and then we've got resting liquidity below us from the New York low. Because will price push higher? The way this 15-minute closed and this 1 hour is going to be closing in 13 minutes. Again, my bias overall for the day is still shorts. All right. So the second candle closed below, but I'm still not confident taking a short here. Because there could just be a deep retracement into the RTH gap, the highs, rejecting the first presentation and pushing higher. I want to see another nice fat rejection here from this level. What's that going to be, a 3-to-1? Okay. Candle still closing below the mean threshold of this BISI here. If this candle closes below the SIBI, that's going to be my edge, and price might go lower, and I'll take the risk reward of 3-to-1 here. But it does have to close below the low of this red box here, the SIBI. Right now, price is bouncing off of Monday's afternoon first presentation to the upside. We're almost at the macro. We're 2 minutes away, 1 minute away. I really wish that that body closed below it. Long to 21. Yeah, I'm trying to do really short scalps here. It's I'm Garrett. I'm till 21 and 973. You know, it could go long, but just looking on how the 15 and the 1 hour look like right now, that's the most telling sign here. Okay, so if this candle right here doesn't collapse in 9 seconds, then my bias is going to be correct to the downside. So that's why we're patient on these trades. Okay, so close above this level right here. It's going to invert it. So once it does, that's going to be the inversion. We are in the macro. Are we in the macro right now? Yeah, we're at 950. I'm just hating the sell side liquidity below us. If this inverts and respects to the upside, this one candle, I may go long here. And it looks like it is going to 10 seconds. I took a small long off of this rejection. I'm risking just 1%. And I'll be going to 932. I'm not in love with this trade here. Just being completely honest here. But based on what price did, if we were to create a story around it, punched in, created a first fair value gap, came back down, rejected it once more, inverted this BISI, and then if price continues this PA, it should push up higher. And what am I aiming for? I'm aiming for London highs at 32 for a 2.5 to 1. Oh. Price is breaking above the upper level of the daily BISI. That's a really strong level here. So you can see how like my bias here was very mixed. It definitely could have taken out these triple lows here from before. That's what I wanted to happen before going higher, but we'll see here. I think my stop is at a decent level. In 5 minutes, I want this 1 hour candle to close above the mean threshold. If it doesn't, there's a chance that this might reverse. So we're anticipating that price pushes higher here within the next 5 minutes and closes. And if it does, then most likely it's going to be going up. And it looks like I'm going to get stopped out any second now here. All right, price. Still in the trade by 1 tick here. The next candle, if we're still on side, it should push all the way back up and get out of this inversion here. All right. Price took me out for a second time in London. The way this 15-minute is going to close in 3 minutes with this 1 hour here. This is giving me hopes that price will actually collapse lower. So you can see here, just depending on how it closes here and which way it pushes, that's where I think the trade's going to go. But no news at 12 o'clock equals low probability. Let's wait till 10 o'clock and see if price decides to give us a direction. Price is trading right now back into today's first presentation and the RTH high, couple points away. Right now, price is just going back and forth here. It just touched Tuesday's Asian first presentation, popped higher. I'm going to try to key off of the first fair value gap after 10 o'clock, assuming that direction is clear here. But just on how the 50-minute is closing, this looks very bearish to me. What's going to confirm it is if we get below today's first presentation. That's going to be the line in the sand there, this level right here. And if it isn't, we're going to attack these relative equal lows and close out what hasn't been traded to from an RTH perspective, regular trading hours. You can see price right now is kind of, sitting on the lower half of this, the civvy here that was traded to the upside. Again, nothing here is super convincing right now. Let's look at the daily quickly. Okay. Price right now is sitting at Monday's afternoon first presentation. You can see here how the bodies are just closing within it over the last 2 candles. And the wicks of the previous 2, so the last 4 are just sitting around there right now. Let's see, 10 o'clock is right now. If the morning continues to be like this over the next 20 minutes, I might have to defer to 11 o'clock. And if not, then the afternoon session. So price isn't moving right now at all. Nothing meaningful. In terms of key levels, we've taken out buy side. There's buy side above us. You know, daily bias is long, but then we also have relatively equal lows below us, which I think are going to get tagged before we push higher. So let's give price a couple more minutes here to see what it wants to do. If not, we might have to wait till 10:50. These lows right here below us, they look a bit sketch as well. This is just liquidity here being formed as the previous lows haven't been tapped at all or there was no disturbance. So I can see something for both sides here. I can see higher time frames like the daily and the weekly going long, but right now the hourly, 15-minute, and even the 5-minute, everything's kind of, I think, gearing for shorts. But I just do want to see this level right here being broken to the downside, this first presentation here. My final trade of the day is going to be something very short-lived. Something like that. Get 2.5 to 1 if I can manage to get my position on the lower half here of the first presentation. Have we had our fair value gap after 10 o'clock forum yet for silver bullet? We have not. All right, gonna create a quick poll here. Curious. Do you guys think price is gonna go long or short? My bias is short, but I think it's a 50-50 shot. But I'm just curious what you guys think. Intraday, and we're talking about like the session bias. If price moves sideways, then it might eventually push up. But if it pushes down, rejects this first presentation, I think it's going to go lower. We got one short. All right. So it looks like the gang is favoriting shorts. And if price goes long, I just don't see an entry. I don't. Trading into this 1 hour BISI, this 15-minute, you know, civvy as well. Sorry, they're both civvies. We've got this daily civvy high that price is just bouncing off of. It failed to push higher during Asia. And guys, price is not moving. It hasn't moved so far for 10 minutes. But this short's going to be my redemption trade to make up for my losses today. If it does present itself, it has to be clean. I think Garavit's long. I don't know where stop is, but I like here how on the 1 hour price just tapped the mean threshold of the SIBI. The trade that I wanted to take earlier in the morning was right here. It was at 10:15. I managed to grab a short. It came up a bit higher, dropped lower. I had my stop at break even. It tapped me and then it just dropped like a rock. So this would have been a huge trade in the Asia session, but unfortunately, I was tired and wanted to go to sleep. Woke up to $9. So price hasn't formed a fair value gap after 10 o'clock. It's really dilly-daddling over the last couple of minutes here. We have no news today. So I'm not even surprised that this is the price action that we got. We had an energetic push higher to these relative equal highs. I really thought this candle right here was that wick there, and I thought it would leave this open, but you know, it took it out, came lower. So far, there's nothing interesting in this price action. Price right now is accumulating, and it might pop to the upside or to the downside. I do not know which way. I think it's a 50-50 right now, to be honest, guys. But it looks like price today is it's hovering between these three fair value apps here. Hasn't broken out from them. If price decides to break out of here and go higher, I'm going to call that as a miss trade for mine and I'll let it run. But if it decides to push lower, take out relative equal lows and then push higher again, that's when I'm going to catch the run higher. That's the only two trades I'm interested in today. So it's going to be something like this here. Once it takes a short, that's when I'm going to go long. Assuming it breaks back above the first presentation, it gives us a nice rejection to the upside. But this area right here, it's going to be revisited today. It's almost guaranteed. And if not, then tomorrow. But this little red block here from the untraded RTH, this is something that price is going to go into. So this is going to be the first presentation after 10 o'clock at 10:10. We're already past the macro time by 2 minutes. We are seeing a very anemic breakout from this level. I think what I'm going to do, guys, is I'm going to call it for this session. Just due to how the 1 hour is still looking like. It's rejecting these mean thresholds of these two SIBIs. If price gets below here, I may short it, but just the way price has been trading over the last 20 minutes, no good. No good. It came into this first presentation fair value gap after 10 o'clock, which is a more weighted fair value gap. I might stream in the afternoon if time permits. But like, where's price gonna go on the upside? We got this one high here. Mean threshold has been rejected 3 times already on the 15-minute. Bodies aren't closing within it. The next macro time is going to be at, and I think this is where price is going to probably pick up at, is at 1050. Right here to 1110. This might be the block here of time that we might see a bit more action. But other than that, like, it's going to be silly of me to take a long from here. Like, the chance of this being ran out is extremely high. There's just no higher time frame targets that I'm looking for, or even intraday, or even lower. So price right now it's essentially in a range. I created one fair value gap at 1010 since 9:55. So within 20 minutes, just one. So I think on that note, I'll close off today's stream. I just don't see anything primo happening today, or at least over the next 30 minutes. What we can do is try waiting till 1050, which is 30 minutes away. That's when price action usually picks up if we have a morning like this. And when it does, we'll have 2 more 15-minute candle closures. If they're all below this midpoint, I think I'll strongly be looking for shorts. And if price breaks out higher and starts pushing highs after this 1 hour market shift to the downside, then I'll be surprised. But ultimately, price is just bouncing off of the midpoint, the high, and the low of this SIBI here that I haven't picked from the daily. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if price, like right now what price is doing here, and this is nice to see, like this right here, it's engineered liquidity. Okay. Oh, and it's just been taken. Unfortunate. If it dropped a bit lower, then that would have been a little scalp there to it, but that little pocket of liquidity has been taken. So this area right here, so this is let's color this background pink. So these are the midpoints of 1 hour and 15-minute. So within this block right here, this is what price right now may be rejecting. And it's done a really good job in the past of rejecting this level. So it's 1020. even on the 15-second, there's nothing clear scalpable, under 1 minute ultra intraday. Price went back into this only FEG that we have, and it rejected it away. There's actually a second one right here that the bodies are, staying to the upside. So price is being squeezed here between these fair value gaps and the midpoints of the higher fair value gaps. But right now, it's just a waiting game. 20 more minutes or 30 more minutes till the macro. So right here, we'll have a line item. This is going to be the 1050 to 11:10:10 macro. Price finally broke past this first fair value gap here that was formed at 10:11. It's pushing into the 10:10 fair value gap. So price is moving finally after this time dilation that happened from 10:12 all the way till 10:21. Price right now is holding in a 19-point range between these levels. This is the definition of poor price action. This long was taken, could have been, by the time you caught it, something like that. 1.5 to 1, 2 to 1 here, right from the open. But it was tricky just because liquidity was taken from the upside before the creation of this first presentation. And that's why I thought price is going to just gyrate to the lows after 7 o'clock, but it never did. And it pushed higher. So I was thrown off by that piece. Our price is still in time dilation. I think that's what, no, does ICT call it time dilation? Can't remember. Time dilution, dilation. So bit of, the most energetic push over the last couple of minutes right here. But still we're stuck in this, fair value gap range. I do think price is going to move at 1050 here. All right, price is still doing nothing. Still moving sideways. Let's keep waiting. And if it doesn't really move at 1050, then it's going to be an afternoon type of day. Usually messy mornings means clean afternoons and vice versa. Okay, price is still moving sideways. Looks like it's attempting to break the mean thresholds. All right, I am going to cut the stream here. This is just not looking good at all. Very messy PA in the morning. We've ultimately moved, 35 handles from the open. I am going to be looking for shorts overall. I think if price does get low enough, I'll try to capture the tail end of shorts. But I guess other than this, guys, thanks for tuning in. Stay safe, trade safe, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye for now.